Hey guys, my name is Matumio, and today's challenge, I decided to give in to many of your guys' requests because I know this has been something that a lot of you have wanted for a very long time now, and that is, I'm going to be killing my enemies with the XM25 Smoke. First of all, I just wanted to figure out if this was even possible. Like, I know a lot of you were telling me that it was possible, you were telling me that it did some damage, but I wanted to find out for myself if this was even something reasonably achievable and if there was any way that I could be able to secure kills back to back. And while it's definitely not the best way to kill your enemies, if you're lucky, because this does require a fair amount of luck, and if you have some skill involved, because you're going to have to try to predict the movement of your enemy, you can secure a kill with the XM25 Smoke. And so during my adventure, the one thing that I quickly realized is that it required 3 direct body shots to kill my enemy from 100% to 0 with this gadget. There were some moments when I would get 4 or 5 or even 6 hit markers, but I think that's just because of the way that the mechanics work in Battlefield, where even if the smoke grenade goes off next to an enemy, it would indicate that you got a hit marker, and it would have the illusion that you got a direct body shot, but you wouldn't do any damage. It was just because the grenade went off next to them. And so the way that I was able to make this gadget work was I needed to flank around as often as I possibly could, and then if I was able to get the flank off, cross my fingers that the enemy didn't have some fancy footworking, and also just hope and pray that I was going to be able to line up the shot to begin with. There were so many moments when I was playing on normal mode where I would get 2 shots directly into my enemy, but because the XM25 does have a fair amount of recoil, like it's got a fair amount of kick, doesn't have the fastest rounds per minute, and it's got a slow travel speed, sure, I could get 2 rounds into my enemy, but they would figure out that someone's shooting at them, and the obvious reaction from pretty much anyone is to start moving once they get hit. They're gonna try to figure out what's trying to take them out. They're gonna move around, and then that's when I miss my 3rd, my 4th, and my 5th shot. And because this gadget only has 5 rounds at that point, I'm basically a sitting duck. Like, that was almost 100% of my interactions with enemies. I would get a nice flank off, I would get 2 rounds into my enemy, they would start to move around, I would miss repeatedly after that, and then I would be down on the ground having a nice little nap. But because of that, when I was able to secure a kill on someone, and then when I was able to kill multiple people in one lifetime or back to back, it was one of the most joyous things to do in Battlefield. Didn't happen very often. Like, I will be completely honest, this was something that I had to put an incredible amount of time just to get 1 kill in. But when it did, and when those moments did arise, it was so satisfying, and I'm sure humiliating for the people that I did take out. The one thing that I could not stop thinking about, though, during my play session was, why would you ever want to use this gadget? Like, sure, you know, every once in a while you may come across that interesting individual who uses the XM25 Smoke, and maybe they're able to use it tactically every once in a while. But if you will notice, like, here's a great example. I jumped into just an empty server here. I shot at the ground, and while it does cover a fair distance, the smoke only lasts like 5 seconds, like it disappears almost immediately. And so I was trying to think to myself, when would this ever be an option for you? Like, maybe if you shoot them all in a line and then you use that to cover your retreat or cover your advancement onto an MCOM so they can arm that MCOM, maybe it could be used tactically. But the fact that the smoke disappears within like 5 seconds, you need to act very quickly. And if anything happens within that 5 seconds, let's say for example, you run out in the open trying to take advantage of the smoke and someone, you know, runs through the smoke, you take them out, you are now out in the open, and because now your smoke has just disappeared, you're a sitting duck for everyone to take you out. For being a tactical gadget, which I'm assuming is what it is, and I'm assuming that's what DICE was going for, you would assume that this would last a little bit longer. This also extends on over to the normal smoke grenade. I was using this to flank around and catch my enemy by surprise and get into positions that I normally wouldn't have been able to get into. But my problem with it is that it takes an eternity for the smoke to even disperse and get to the point where it can block a line of sight for you, but it also doesn't cover that much of a radius around it. Like, it doesn't block that much of the view of the enemy. You would assume in a game like Battlefield, where maps are gigantic, a tactical grenade like this would cover more distance. It would be a little bit larger so that you could use it to get from cover to cover. It's just not the case in Battlefield. Like, it takes a long time for the smoke grenade to even disperse, and then when it does, it's just this pathetic little smoke screen that maybe if you're playing on, like, Operation Metro or Operation Locker, it can be used somewhat tactically, but as soon as you take it into normal, large Conquest maps, it serves no purpose at all. I did jump onto the CTE servers to test out the changes that DICE are making to the smoke grenade, because I know that they're gonna make the smoke react faster, so it expands faster from the initial explosion, and that's awesome. Like, there is a noticeable difference. You can see the side-by-side comparison. But even still, it doesn't cover enough distance in my opinion. Like, the maps are gigantic, and while I don't want smoke to just cover the entire battlefield, we don't want to make it so that everything is in a massive haze the entire time, it would be nice if not only the XM25 Smoke lasted longer, like 5 seconds is just silly. Like, how are you supposed to use that? But also expanded the radius a little bit so that on larger maps, it served a little bit more of a purpose. But overall, this was a fun challenge. Like, there were some moments when I did get a little frustrated. That usually happened right after I would get 2 shots into my enemy, and then they would promptly turn around and slap me right in the face. But when I was able to get 2 kills, or one moment I even got 3 kills directly in a row, my heart was pounding. You wouldn't think that would happen just after 3 kills. You know, that would be just an average run in Battlefield. But 3 kills with the XM25 Smoke was incredibly fun, not easy, and if you ever want to try something a little bit different, I recommend that you give this a go. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have a terrible weapon setup that you would like me to try next, be it a particular gadget, be a weapon with a terrible combination of attachments, let me know down below. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.